Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TW 2020 video. You join us for another instalment of my offline save with the OWF. The challenge to try and get all the achievements in the game, which is, if we take a wee look, you can see, yeah, it's getting there. The problem is, I don't have a counter for how many matches I've booked, so I'm just going to have to keep booking and booking and booking through this save. Well, I don't even know if it counts as one save or if it's over all of them, but I'm hoping OWF will get there, but the 10,000 matches. Still haven't had a 100 match, so that's obviously a prime thing we're chasing, and then, you know, getting ones are tricky enough, but then getting 10 and then 50 are going to be really difficult. I did get a 100 show, but that was with WCW in 96. With I think it was Gaz's mod they had at the time. I can't remember the name of it exactly, but I want to try and do it with present day guys. If we can get that to 100, I think it'll be a bit more satisfying as well. If it's someone that we brought up from kind of nowhere, developed and turned them into a worker that was able to get us a 100 show, and of course get 10 and then get 50. Increase a company to small and medium size. I think I'm probably either going to start another save for that one down the line, or create a new developmental company, take that as a second player and build it up from there. So that's options I've got. And the 90,000, 100,000 fans, well, that just really comes down to how the wrestling business will be, how the economy will be. What I might just do is even when the economy, or sorry, when the wrestling industry is thriving in the US, just basically seek to go ahead and do a free show, because I got the 80,000 previously doing that with AEW. I think I can easily nail 90,000 or 100,000. I could probably do it in the AEW save, but we'll certainly try here. And of course, is win the company of the year 5 times and 10 times. Well, that does involve doing 5 or 10 years worth of gameplay and making sure our booking is superb. So they're all going to be aims to try and get over the course of this save, and hopefully I can do it. So that's a rundown of what I'm looking to achieve. I'm going to jump into the company now and let you see what has happened in the 6 months. It might even be more than that. We done the last video in February in game. This is now November. It's not 6 months. It's a lot more. But anyway, let's jump into the company and I'll let you have a look around. So here we are. I'm basically just finished my October pay-per-view. Remember, all pay-per-view results I'll still post on my Twitter, which is just the same here, 21Maxwell. There's a massive thread with every card we have for the pay-per-views. Remember as well, this isn't exactly a small company that was just built up like as an added to the game and then like any sort of hard mode. None of that was put in here. This was strictly meant to be try and get the company as strong as possible to chase those massive ratings. That was my pure intention here. Joys of a sandbox game. So if I quickly go to finance, I'll just give you an idea of, you know, how we've been a bit more financially secure here. So we started the save, we're over a year now, so I'll need to try and explain it a wee bit better. Obviously the minimum money the game gives you in terms of starting a company at the highest size. Obviously signing people at the start was pretty difficult because of obviously exclusive contracts with other companies. We've been very, very fortunate that AEW, for some reason, any main person that they've got, whether it be male or female, instead of signing them to an exclusive contract, have always been handshake deals, so we've been able to sign them on handshake agreements. The biggest problem being if AEW decides to get them written, especially the ones that are AEW Truebot, your Hangman Page, your Cody Rhodes, etc., we'll lose them. So it's like putting faith in them, but at the risk that we may lose them at any point. But what I've done financially is I gave the company right at the start 100 million, but the 100 million was strictly put into the investment of the Observer Network. That was just going to be our hub to get as much exposure around the world. And you can see there, over the couple of months there, 25 million, 20 million, $17 million has all been invested into that network. That was going to be our home hub. So whilst we are very, very financially fine, you can see our broadcast revenues have grown from 4 million, nearly 5 million November last year, to 28 million last month. You can clearly see that's obviously been a massive factor. So again, we have obviously just threw money at it, but I just basically thought, we're not really chasing, as I say, a difficult save here. We're chasing achievements, so I felt like that was a good way. The difficulty was going to be in terms of recruitment, the difficulty was going to be in terms of the booking, and I certainly feel with the patches these days compared to the patch with AEW, from AEW save has made it a wee bit more difficult to break through. But that adds to the challenge, which is good. As you probably noticed, my AEW save, there's some ridiculous ratings in that. They obviously, Adam, I should say, nerfed the gains a little bit, so it has been a bit more difficult, but it's up to me to try and work around that. But that's just in case you're wondering how the hell we've ended up with 38 million in this situation. So I'm not going to lie ease and say, oh, this was grafted with hundreds of easy shows and a poor network. It's like, not advantage, straight on them on network. Just gave them 100 million, bought a network for there, and then with the revenue we generated from that, obviously adding sponsorships, merchandise, and pay-per-view revenue from there, we just grew and grew our network, and that's why we are where we are. To give you that idea, if I just go to investments, you're upgraded. You can see there, we're huge in America, huge in Canada, very big in Mexico, huge in the British Isles, very big in Japan. Europe and Oceania both are huge, and we are enormous in India, so we can't increase that. That was the cheapest one, hence that's enormous. The plan is basically just to get enormous onto everyone, so we're going to be saving for a good couple of months. Basically planning to have a good few developmental territories, bringing a lot of people in, and yeah, just basically a lot of kind of investment stuff, get our own other things we can get. Training facilities, we actually purchased one of them as well. I took the AIW school, so we've got that. Upgraded everything, so the training level and the facilities are both at 100%, and the students come at different times. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to as well, is new generated wrestlers that have been coming in and out, so happy with that. As I said about developmental companies, we've bought 2 so far. MLW were struggling, so we've purchased them and sent them a good few wrestlers. And actually, my last act before I done this video was we purchased Shimmer as well. So I had to recall about 30 women talents from MLW, and everyone else been moved to Shimmer. The good thing is, obviously, we own a broadcasting network of the OWF network. So what I've done basically is, yeah, just made their shows a lot longer. I think it's like 2 or 3 hours per show. Gave them another 30 women. And hopefully, as I say, they can really kick on. Because as I say, are developmental, there's plenty in there. It's people that I just feel I don't have anything in the main roster for at the moment. We can see that anyone from Emil Winchester all the way down to you, or Maddie Winkowski. Kaylee Ray's there just basically I don't have anything for her right now. I'm perfectly aware of how good she is. But as I say, when you see the female roster, and that's just the females that will be in Shimmer, you add in either gender, you can bring in... There's people that we did sign when we took over MLW, and I've just kind of sent them away. So like Matt Cross, people like Danhausen, but it gave me like stuff that I wanted to, or wrestlers I wanted to kind of see how they developed over time. So like your Darius Lockhart's as well. And I feel as well, I know I did mention that there with Matt Cross, but the likes of him, the likes of Harry Smith as well, like they can kind of be player coaches down in developmental. So I'm hoping they can certainly do that. So that's just a wee gander there at the developmental side of the company. So you may have wondered as well, we are third in the world. To give you an idea, we are the biggest in the States, because obviously we've been growing at a rapid rate. WWE is down to medium, but if we move to the States, you'll see here, biggest company, then WWE, New Japan, AEW, NXT. I don't know why AEW hasn't grew. Like, everybody's over. I've not stole anyone directly from them. You can see everybody's still there. But size-wise, yeah, they just... are growing at a very, very slow rate. And the reason I say growing at a really slow rate, because if you go to us, obviously we're 83 and 11 in the States, but look at that gain. So November 21, we're practically where they're at now. But we've took massive leaps and gains in that year. Obviously I can't show the year beforehand. But we're pretty solid in the States. Canada are pretty solid in. It's basically getting to Titanic, so we'll have to build up the likes of Mexico. British Isles is going to be tricky getting Wales over. Japan's in a decent place, Europe's okay, Oceania and India, but I do want to make like everywhere in the world like 80 over if we can, so we can practically run shows out of everywhere, because I've been doing a thing as well where we have special events that are called the Global Series. So it's like an event in Canada, the UK, we had one in India. It was my way, basically I had a rule that I wanted my titles, as you'll see here, to be World Championships. But you can see here, only defended in US. I wanted a rule where it was 5 different countries before they became World Championships. Hence why you have a World Championship and a World Television Championship. But the rest have not quite gathered there. And you can see Sudden Impact, our tag team champions, Gargano and Ciampa. Tried to keep away from any kind of WWE names, and just because that would make it a wee bit realism. Actually going to run through the title holders. So we had the Lucha Bros, then Gable and Crane, of course Crane being Otis. Ace Austin and Brian Pillman were known as the Omega Squad because they were two guys that get upset wins over Kenny Omega because Kenny was giving them as a promise. More on that later. And then I just decided, well, let's give it to Gargano and Ciampa. I'm not really doing much with Gargano. And I had just signed Ciampa because basically if you can wrestle, you're here. Or if you're someone that I quite just enjoy watching, you're probably here. Women's Championship, we are with Jordynne Grace at the moment. We've went from Chris Statlander to Sasha to Britt Baker. Small run there for Serena Deeb. And now we have Jordynne Grace, who just has to be chased by Charlotte at the moment. But yeah, I've given her a good push because I feel like she's someone that we need to try and get them to the top women's level. So like a couple of the women on our roster are like far greater over. So we have to get Jordynne Grace elevated to that. Women's Tag Team, I've just started those belts in July. We've only ever had one champions, 4 title defences so far, and that's the tag team of Heidi Lovelace and Mercedes Martinez. They've had a few defences over the likes of Pearl and Wisdom, which was Serena and Sarah Stock, over Chris Statlander and Evie, over Miyu Yamashita and Riho, and over Demi Bennett and Big Vicky, who are, of course, Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. Television Championship started with Jeff Cobb at the start of the year. He had a good run before losing it to Sami Zayn, or Sami Z. I just felt like Generico would limit promos, and if it was Caribbean a wee bit realistic, so it went with Sami Z. He then lost it to Platinum Max Caster 19 days ago. Everybody wants to put Max Caster over, and I thought, you know what, let's just give him the belt as well. So Platinum Max is running around as your World Television Champion, and if I can click his profile, you'll see, thanks to promises and people continually want to put him over. Look at that, that's ridiculous. And the only reason he's over as much and he get pushed as quickly is because Anthony Bowens was still under a written exclusive contract, so I couldn't bring him in. But you see there, the handshake deal, and it just means when the time is right, we will go all out and we'll make sure we outbid AEW. That's why I need to keep a bit of money as well. Your World Championship, La Sombra was the opener when we created the company back in May of 2021. We then had Kenny Omega. We had a run for Pac. We had a run for Rey Fenix. He was destroyed by the Nightmare. Nightmare lost it straight away to Hangman Page. And then I've just decided to put it on Jon Moxley, just because Hangman was pretty over and I felt like we needed to build another guy to that level. And I really want to try and do Hangman Page versus Tyler Black at one point. So we're running through the roster. I still get through all the events, but the roster has to be shown with many people we've managed to bring in. I'm just going to put it as active wrestlers because there's a lot here to get through. As you'll probably notice, a lot of people that quite frankly don't really get used, but there's some that maybe should have stints in developmental. But you know, I've got the likes of, you know, as I say, Ace Austin's come in, Adam Cole, get AJ Styles in there. Not as over as I'd like. There's some people where they don't arrive with great overness from WWE or AEW, and it's tricky to get them over. So despite how good AJ Styles is at 45, it's really difficult to get him over. But again, part of the challenge. Becky Knox is in. We got her in. She's not long joined actually. First week of October, so she's been here a month. She's working under the name of Becky Knox. Ben Carter's in. He's basically the protege of Tyler Black, so he's been helping out Tyler in a lot of his debut matches. The big bastard Drew Galloway. I'm looking to do something between the big bastard Drew Galloway and the bastard Pac. I mean, that just makes sense, call them the bastards. You got Big Ettore, which is Big E, Big Tuss, which is Jonah Rock. Nothing to do with each other, as kept calling people big at one point. Big Vicky, because obviously she's like over 6 foot tall and she was like absolutely jacked, so I was like, absolutely make her sound like she's going to just break you. Pillman Jr. had a lot of people that wanted to put him over, so we've got him up to 66. He's another one that I think, as you can see, had the good push there, thanks to promises, which is good to see. As I say, Britt Baker, we've got her in. Our user character, of course, is the Moaning Man himself, Brian Alvarez. If you like a rant or two, he's your man. We'll get Brian Danielson in. We've got Charlotte. I felt like she's called Charlotte Flair in WWE, so we went with Charlotte. Christian Cage we brought in the same day. I think he's still with AEW, so I've got him in a kind of jail deal. Punk's here, but I don't really use him too often, but probably should, considering his overness is like nearly in the 90s. But we talked him out of a non-wrestler capacity, and he's happy to wrestle. Cody's here, but again, the AEW Trueborn is just purely because of this, you can see there, handshake deal. So if AEW want an unwritten contract, we have no say. Pulling through, Darby Allin's in here. We've got Deonna Purrazzo's just signing. She's going to debut shortly. We've got Dominic Mysterio. He's actually in a 1-year injury, but of course we have Rey Mysterio. So we're obviously going to do something for them at one point. Hangman, you can see they're 85 over. He's really got over, which is good to see. Jason Momoa was with MLW, and obviously we just decided to, we'll take him. I've never actually used him, but we've got him because he was one of the user characters at the start. And I thought, you know what? Some celebrities are in the wrestling business. Let's just go for it. But we're on through here. You like to see Jeff Cobbs, Jimmy Jacobs, John Silver, Johnny Gargano, John Moxley. He might be capped to 84, which is a bit worrying. Jordan Grace, as I say, our champ there, nearly 70 over, so it's certainly worked with her, that little feud she's got going with Charlotte. Likes the Jungle Boy, Carrie Hojo, we get back out of retirement, which was good to see. It basically was a case of every wrestler that was retired, I spoke to them and we got some out of retirement, which was good. As you can see, that's why she was out of retirement before we hired her. We got Okada, that's the one person I've tweeted something about them. And that was because he was loyal to New Japan and I really wanted to bring Okada in. And obviously, loyal to Japan, New Japan would have meant exclusive contract there every time. But you could have said that about Shinsuke Nakamura, so I felt like, it's cool. It's a sandbox game. Let's have some fun. Let's just take that away from Okada and outbid New Japan. Kenny, who's starting to get a bit more over. He had a nice wee feud there with Tyler Black. I'm hoping to blow that feud off at their end of year event, their kind of WrestleMania. Our Day of Reckoning, basically. There's Crane. Get Chris Statlander, Kurt Angle, Kushida, La Sombra, Lucius Lothario, Garza Jr. Get Max Caster, as I say, Platinum Max, the champ. Who else we got? Nick Nemeth in there. We've got Pac, Penta, Pete Dunne we got. There's some good feuds with Prince Devitt recently. And then it's just, again, looking at the rest of the roster. Your Priscilla Kelly, Rey Fenix, Rey Mysterio. Richard Holiday's benefited massively from people wanting to put him over. Hence another one from 29 to 70. So, I mean, you don't always need to take promises, but I'm a sucker for doing it. And that's why we've managed to get some stars. And again, he's 26. Technically, not very good. Just in terms of stats, they're a wee bit low everywhere, but that'll come with experience, hopefully. And then other people, we get like Rush, Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe. Out of retirement was Sarah Del Rey, and when that popped up, I'm like, absolutely get me Sarah Del Rey. She might be 41, but be damn right with that 74 technical, 86 psychology. That's going to be somebody that will be fantastic in the development of some of their female wrestlers. Scarecrow, well, we had Nightmare, so let's have Scarecrow. That's Nightmare there if you're wondering. And that's Scarecrow. I don't have a face pack for him, so he's just going to have to stay below Dallas, but we're just going to imagine he's a Scarecrow. Scorpio Sky, Deeb, Shinsuke, Shane Strickland. Sting was part of the Defy. We actually bought them over as well, but I've never actually used them, and his overness isn't there, so he's just there. Swiss Tony, he's had some good victories. Going to give him a wee push before he'll probably physically decline. Tez, as in Montez Ford, and we have the Prince Adil Ali, who's just debuted, as he had a cheap shot at Darby Allin. So absolutely looking forward to fantasy booking completely Mustafa Ali, Prince Adil Ali versus Darby Allin. Apart from that, Timothy Thatcher, Ciampa, Trey Miguel, Tyler Black we know about, Volta, and Zack Sabre Jr. Just a complete Marks roster, if I'm being frankly honest, but hey, we need to know what works in the game. And as I say, it's so talented in such a stacked roster now. I'm hoping to go basically to 2 brands, and obviously I know as well you can't push everybody, so there will be some. As much as I'd love to push them, we'll firmly be putting people over. So that'll take us to our show history. We'll run through that before we call it quits for today. I just want to go through like a few of my pay-per-views and explain my reasonings for certain stuff. So you would have last saw St. Valentine's Day Massacre. So that would have been before any of the global series. So you can see some of the global series was counted as an actual pay-per-view, some of it was counted as a special. But the global series' first show was in Japan. I went with Okada, Nakamura and Kenny Omega, defeating La Sombra, Rush and Nick Nemeth in the main event. You obviously take a very low attendance in these places because you're not popular, so it is a small hit there, but you hope that the money you don't get through gate receipts, you can certainly make back through your television revenue. We had Liberation shortly after. If you ever want to just like pause the video and look through the card, I'll try and give it. I can't explain for every match, I'll be here forever, but if you want to really look through the cards, then certainly look to go ahead and do that. But we had Pac defeat Sami Zayn to retain the OWF Championship title. That one also had Big Bastard Drew Galloway defeat CM Punk. I was trying to get some overness onto Drew, because obviously as over as Punk is, he's not going to be somebody that's going to be doing 20-minute plus matches, which for our product we need to get over an 82 rated matchup. That's how we get the world class scores. That's also had Britt Baker win the OWF Women's Championship from Sasha. After Liberation, we moved on to our second Global Series matchup, and that was in Mexico, the second series show. Just 2,300 in attendance, but this one gave us Rey Fenix versus Pac, and this took place in Mexico, so obviously I was going to put the championship on him there. I will say as well, because of how much we make financially, every pay-per-view now gets a special celebrity. I think it's like 1 million on a band, 1 million on a celebrity, and usually 250,000 on a set. It was 500,000 on the set at the last pay-per-view because it was a Halloween show, and I thought, well, you're going to put a bit more money into that. We're in the Proving Grounds, and that was just Rey Fenix defeating Pac, Sami Zayn and Big Bastard Drew Galloway in a fatal 4-way. We also had the Gable Academy, which would have just, it's been changed obviously to training thingy. Gable. Well, no, I could still call Gable Academy, I suppose. It would be the Good Brothers. And I had an Asylum Insanity match between Nightmare and El Penta Zero. And, yeah, it didn't deliver, which was a shame. What I then done was start a little show called The Prospect Hour. I just was enjoying booking one show and then decided I'll have a wee B show. This was for any wrestler under the age of 30. You're probably looking at that and going, you've just said any wrestler under 30, and you've put Chris Hero, Roderick Strong, and Chris Daniels on the show. There's a reason for that. They need coaches. They need player coaches. They need people that can help them develop psychology skills within matches. So that's why the likes of Hero, why Roderick Strong was there, and why Daniels were there. I felt they would have been perfect for that kind of role. So the Prospect Hour doesn't run anymore because most of them just go to Developmental. Because there was quite a few younger talents that, as much as I wanted them to go to Developmental, they were gaining so much from being proteges. Like, I'll give the example once we come out of this, but the likes of Gazelle Shaw, Chelsea Green, Tennille Dashwood, and Cassie Lee, all proteges of Lance Storm, and he gives psychology tips all the time, and the growth in the psychology at least has been great. So I think I'll maybe wait till the psychology stat gets to like a certain level, and then I'll put them into Developmental. But I just felt like keeping them in the main roster, getting the psychology aspect going, and then if we can work on other stuff, we'll be laughing basically. We moved on to our next event, which was the Clock Strikes 12, and that was where Rey Fenix defeated the Big Bastard Drew Galloway. We had Nightmare and El Penta 0M participate in a Hell in a Cell match, a steel structure match up there. That gave us a 79. And you can see there as well, that's where we had Sami Zayn defeat Jeff Cobb for the television championship. And we also had Shinsuke Nakamura happily put over Richard Holiday. I feel obviously if you have these matches at the pay-per-view, you get the bigger effect as well in terms of pop, win and lose. The way I book my shows as well, if you don't know already, is tight focus and main event spotlight. So that is why I'll always have self-promotion or hype sports entertainment angles to start the show, because they're always usually guaranteed to get like a 90 odd rating. This allows me to just put pressure on the main event to deliver, and then it allows me effectively to experiment with 90% of the show. You can have 90% of that show being terrible, but if that main promo and main event delivers, you're fine. So that's why you'll probably see higher ratings compared to anywhere near what we occur on the show, plus of course the bonuses. We then had the UK series, of the UK show of the Global Series. We had that in the Silverdome Arena in Southern England. This one we had Kenny and Okada take on La Sombra and Rush. We had the first ever women's tag team champions, and we had Rey Fenix defend against CM Punk, the Big Bastard, Drew Galloway and Pac. Nothing like letting two people from the UK lose in the UK. Then moved on to OWF Vendetta. Had a massive feud between Kenny Omega and the Nightmare, and Nightmare destroyed him. We had Richard Holiday beating Prince Devitt. He was happy to put over Richard Holiday. Same way Nick Nemeth happy to put over Max Caster, which was okay considering it was two heels. I had AJ and Christopher Daniels team up together. I felt like that would work because they were also going to help the development of the Mega Squad, of course being Pillman Jr. and Ace Austin. And that's when Big E's debut, saving a beatdown from La Sombra and Lothario to Rey Mysterio, who had been released from WWE. And in the summer, we had the Great Summer Bash when Nightmare defeat Rey Fenix for the championship, which was only a 75, which is quite disappointing. And we had the AJ Styles and Kurt Angle team up to face the Omega Squad, again aiding their development. Okada was happy to put over Richard Holiday, hence why we get that match up there in the 80 rating. And Serena Deeb winning the Women's Championship as well. So I wanted to try and make a bit more money with the commercial avenue. So after this we ditched the Prospect Hour and we brought in a second show. So we've got a Showdown, which is basically our Raw, and then I brought in All Stars. All Stars is just basically what it is, to put all the great wrestlers on it, and yeah, just to try and get some good shows and good ratings. It's probably just going to move to like our version of Raw and SmackDown, effectively. But we had a massive segment between the Nightmare and Hangman, and we opened up with a title match. So we finished it with the title match, as the Omega Squad defended against the Lucha Bros, which gave it a 77. Of course, I then did sign Bryan Danielson, which meant we also signed Shane McMahon. I just felt that would have been funny, just like Shane's fell out with WWE and we've brought him in. I could have signed Stephanie as well, but it was going to cause a bit too much commotion between her and Punk, so I went, just leave her. Better the American Dragon, and that was him. He basically arrived at the same time as Zack Sabre Jr. Both were kind of discussing who the best technical wrestler is, and Danielson was like, well, this is why I came here. I want to face everybody. Let's do it. So we had Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr., their debut matches. Hangman defeated Nightmare for the championship through a distraction from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley then putting Nightmare through the table. I tried to make Nightmare effectively our Undertaker, but that's certainly dwindling. We had Serena with dubious means defeating Charlotte. That might have been through count out, I can't actually remember. But some good matches there. Good to get Kenny versus Walter. And Cody and Matt Cardona losing to the Omega Squad. A little bit, and then we had Sudden Impact, where we had Moxley defeat the Nightmare in an 86. Maybe I think it is the best match we've had in history. I'll need to double check that. We'll start to do that. And we had Hangman defend the championship against the Big Bastard Drew Galloway, and he retains in an 85 rated matchup. But overall, it was a solid card. Jordan Grace winning the Women's Championship in a triple threat, including Serena and Charlotte. And we had Max Caster defeating Cody Rhodes, as Cody was happy to do the job. Disappointingly in the opener, Danielson and Pac only gathered a 75. Our latest global series was the one in India. We just basically signed Tyler Black, so obviously straight away Tyler Black, Jon Moxley main event. Nightmare challenged Hangman, Hangman retained. And we had Max Caster win the television championship at that event. But you can see a few poor matches there. Punk and Zach Gibson on a 65. Sarah Del Rey and Rio was a 33. These people are not over in America, in India, sorry, so that's why you're going to get lower ratings. I mean, Kerry and Rush in a 54. It's just the nature of us needing to get their names over in India. Very strange place to debut Sarah Del Rey, but there you go. And the same with Becky, but we just make it, oh, Becky's the big name, and that's how the people of India or Saudi Arabia, however we want to interpret it in this game, would have wanted. And my last show was the Halloween Horror Show. Booked it very late at night because I wanted it done, and it's probably why I only got an 82 for most of our matches. But as I say, the boost and the good opening promo gave us the 88. But it was Jon Moxley winning the championship in a fatal 4-way against Hangman, Taylor Black and La Sombra. Sudden Impact defeating Omega Squad. Jordan Grace retaining against Charlotte just to try to get her over. I'm trying to have some sort of alliance between Charlotte and Tessa, because obviously Tully and Rick makes a bit of sense. With the Ali jumping Darby Allin after his victory over Drew Galloway. And Penta and Nick challenging Max Caster. Again, Nemeth had another match to put Caster over. And I wanted a babyface in there as well. And just a casual Bryan Danielson Pete Dunne opener. Nothing big there, honestly. Could have main evented if it wanted. So promises. Promises, promises, promises. That's what we've still got. So I'm going to see at one point Sammy put over Darby Allin twice. AJ put over Max Caster. Jon Moxley put over Max Caster. So I'm a world champion, I'm a television champion. That's going to be interesting. Christian Cage to put over Jacob Fatu. And Cody Rhodes to put over Jungle Boy all in the next couple of months. I'm looking to do a good tag team between Jacob Fatu and Jeff Cobb. And have them basically destroy everyone. Right, so Cassie Lee. Skills. So Braun's not really gained. Perescu's gained a little bit. Hardcore, it's up 6. Technical, up 2. Psychology, up 12. Look at that big massive gain. Maybe not so much in the last couple of months, but you can see maybe that's her peaked. But as I say, Lance Storm has been pivotal there. I think Tenille was the even bigger gain, so we'll quickly look up Tenille Dashwood. As I think her psychology took a massive jump. So she at the moment, psychology 74. No, that was just a 70. Who's the one that took a massive jump? Lance, where are you? He's not under as an active wrestler. In fact, was it Gazelle? It may have just been Gazelle. Let's have a look. Skills. Popularity. Skills, please. Psychology 64, up to 48, so there you go, 16 already. And only going to keep getting bigger and bigger. So that's why she's barely wrestled, but her psychology is at such a level where hopefully technical aerial can gain over time. She's only at 50 experience, she's only 26, so she's plenty of time. And she is working in other companies as well. As I say, the handshake deal is working perfectly. So that's our tour so far. The only thing we'll end it with is our top 100 events, etc. So Sudden Impact in September was a 92. That's the furthest and closest I've got to the 100. We are getting better, as you can see. They're all 2022 shows. But yeah, I think I just need to figure out what works and maybe stop having everybody beat each other and have unbeaten run versus unbeaten run at the pay-per-view for the bigger payoff. Best matches: Moxley against Nightmare, Taylor Black against Kenny Omega, both 86. And the 3 matches below that were 85s. Top 100 of the tendencies, the Great Summer Bash gets 67,000, but I do believe the industry is in a little bit of a decline at the moment, which is why we are maybe not getting what we'd want. Vendetta with the best buy rate, and the TV ratings. Showdown does its job there, 17.22. We roughly get about 12 million people watching every particular showdown. Oh, there you go. Wrestling industry is on the up, but the economy is on the down. Canada's not too bad. Mexico could maybe meet in the middle there. The UK is in an okay position. Japan's wrestling's up. It's just the economy that's not. Maybe we should be in some of these places. India's okay, but yeah. Need somewhere where everything's rising and thriving. That's the aim. But it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed booking it so far. As I say, it's just to try and get those achievements. If you do want to follow the progress, so you can check it out on Twitter. Twitter on Maxwell, just follow the thread. If not, there'll be videos up here every month or so, just as progress goes. But thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye bye.